Hey, my name is Shane Winkler. My program is the Urban Vegetation Initiative. I wrote the grant to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. They're a state level organization. Their program is the Environmental Education Grant Program, which has awarded $8 million in grants since 1993. The program likes to fund programs that deal with air quality, watersheds, energy education, environmental literacy, among others. My program involves education improving air quality. Environmental pollution is proven to cause adverse health outcomes such as diseases like cancer, neurological disorders, and respiratory disease. Air in urban areas have the highest concentration of air pollutants, which is evident in the atmosphere in the Pittsburgh metropolitan area. They have high levels of smog, also high levels of particulate matter as compared to the national average. 5,000 premature deaths occur each year due to this in the Pittsburgh area. My project summary project is a multifaceted approach to reduce the effect that air pollution has on the Pittsburgh area. The first phase will be project setup, where we will hire staff, obtain materials, and work with partners to set up the intervention. We need to purchase the tree planters, gardening equipment, and advertising. The schools will provide transportation and facilities as an in-kind service. Our organization will provide the educational materials, key staff salaries, food, and t-shirts. The second phase will be able to raise awareness of the program in the surrounding area. This will be achieved by implementing an advertising campaign in public schools and distributing sign-up sheets for the after-school program and the tree planting intervention. We will also notify parents of the program to increase the scope of the intervention. The third phase will be to implement an urban vegetation program, which involves participants being distributed throughout the city to plant trees and other vegetation in designated areas, including parking lots, parks, and sidewalks. The expected results for this study are the temperature reduction. The more trees you have in an environment, the less the average temperature is. Decreasing temperatures hinder the emission of pollutants. A tree canopy is 1.3 degrees Celsius cooler than an open area. This will also remove air pollutants from the air. Trees actually intercept airborne particles and gases. I'm quoting, in 1994, trees in New York City removed an estimated 1,821 metric tons of air pollution at an estimated value to society of $9.5 million. Large healthy trees greater than 77 centimeters in diameter remove approximately 70 times more air pollution annually than small healthy trees less than 8 centimeters in diameter. Energy effects on building also trees play an impact in that. They reduce the energy needed to keep buildings cool during the summer and also when heated when blocking winds during the winter. Inform and empower the public. That's another goal of the program. The education program will address and improve perceived severity, susceptibility, and attitudes toward the real health outcomes of exposure to air pollution. They will also learn of the greater impact pollution has on the earth as a whole, which will lead them to advocate for a cleaner and healthier environment in the future. Like I said, the project has four main parts: project setup, advertising campaign, after-school education program, and the urban vegetation intervention. The total investment is $9,000. The funding request is for $4,000. The project setup will involve our organization mobilizing our partners in the Pittsburgh City Council to designate areas where the urban vegetation can be planted. After the areas have been designated, hiring staff and obtaining materials including shovels, gloves, and tree saplings will be the next step. This stage will also be where our educational materials are finalized and printed. Our partners in the Pittsburgh public schooling system have provided our organization with in-kind services such as their classrooms and auditorium to run the education, and also their buses to provide transportation throughout the city. The advertising campaign portion is designed to raise community awareness not only about the intervention, but also about the air pollution problem in their community. A commercial ad will be shown on the local news channels, and it will notify the community of the severity of the problem, along with what health conditions may arise from pollution. The commercial will direct viewers to our organization website, where they will be able to access resources that will educate them about the environmental problems they face every day in their community. They will also learn how to decrease their own impact on the problem. Flyers and announcements will be made in the public schools notifying all the students about the program and how to sign up. The after-school education program will be the third section. It's an educational program. It's held after school every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 1 hour. It's a 5-week program, and a pre-test will be given on the first day and a post-test on the last. This will allow us to quantify the impact that the education portion has on the subject's knowledge and attitudes. The content that will be covered in the education will contain 3 units. The first unit is History of Pollution in Pittsburgh, which will include all the industry in the early 1900s up until now. The second unit will be taught in the second and third week, which will focus on the health conditions that are linked to heavy air pollution. The third unit will be covered in the final 2 weeks of the education portion. This unit will empower the students by teaching them what causes air pollution and how to reduce it. The urban vegetation intervention is the final section. This part of the project will have the most immediate impact on the actual air quality in Pittsburgh. 10,000 trees will be planted in designated areas around the cities, including parking lots, parks, and sidewalks. The students involved in the education portion, along with any parent and teacher volunteers, will work with our staff to plant these trees every Friday over a 5-week span. The students will be picked up after school, and each bus will go to a different parking lot, park, or designated area to begin planting trees. Volunteer parents and teachers will act as chaperones and accompany the students on the buses. The evaluation plan for the project, my evaluator will determine the efficiency of the planning process. They will also determine the knowledge, attitudes of the target population and how they have changed from pre to post test. They will also determine the effectiveness of utilizing our partners in the local government and the public schools. They will determine the effectiveness of an advertisement campaign as to how many people are more committed with the environment through surveys. Determine the effectiveness of the education program by analyzing pre and post tests. The evaluator will discuss the change in the knowledge of the participants. They will also discuss a change in the attitudes towards the effects of air quality. They will also determine the effectiveness of the urban vegetation intervention. They will measure air quality periodically after the intervention is completed. They will measure the average temperature and compare it to the temperature before the intervention. The final report will consist of cost effectiveness for the program, which is the cost compared to the amount of particulate matter levels that have decreased since the intervention. Air quality levels, graphs, and data will be provided displaying the results of air quality measurements. This will also include the number of participants, any demographic information, volunteer recruit members, pre and post test evaluation shows by how much the participants' knowledge has increased. Our management plan, the project director would report directly to the vice president of the organization, which I am acting as in the grant proposal. There's 3 coordinators, one for advertising, one for education, and one for the actual urban vegetation intervention, along with an external evaluator. These 4 people will report to the project director. Each coordinator is responsible for managing the respective section of the program. Dissemination plan. I plan to disseminate this information locally, state, and at the national level. For the local level organization conference, the organization I'm part of will have a conference every year, and the center of the conference will be this intervention. Also, there will be articles posted in the Philadelphia and Pittsburgh News. Also, we will have a news story in Philadelphia. At the state level, the Pennsylvania SOFI conference will be held, and we will do a presentation there regarding the results of the program. We will also post information on the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, our funder's website. At the national level, we will submit the reports and articles containing results to the American Public Health Association and hope to be included in their Journal of Public Health. Continuation plan. The project is able to run on relatively low costs compared to the potential benefit it brings to the Pittsburgh community. Air pollution, however, is not restricted to the Pittsburgh area. This program can be implemented in other metropolitan areas throughout the Commonwealth, such as Harrisburg and Philadelphia. And with the cooperation of those communities, the program can run at an even lower cost. The only expensive part of the program is Part D, which is the Urban Vegetation Program, and it will require additional grant funding in subsequent years. But Part A to C are relatively inexpensive and will become even more beneficial due to the evaluation process. We will also cut costs future grant years by using our process evaluation to cut administrative costs. The things I included on my budget were all the people costs, which my organization was funding, like the key personnel, the coordinators, the evaluator salary. I also included the in-kind services provided by the schools and the local governments, and then the actual grant proposal is to fund the shovels, the trees, and gloves and other gardening equipment that students may need to plant the trees around the town. A partnering form was required by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, which required a partner signature and a contribution. My partners, again, the Pittsburgh Public Schools, who contributed the facilities, buses, and the teacher and parent volunteer chaperones. And also the Pittsburgh local government, who worked with us to designate areas to plant the trees around the city. That's it. Thank you very much.